This is a Pioneer, what is it? A407R. This is an amplifier I sold on eBay. Of course, when it was with me, it was working absolutely fine. And the customer was happy with it initially. He's been using it in a garage, and I got a message from him about 2 or 3 weeks ago saying when he starts the amplifier up in the morning, it starts clicking. That's what he described, and the display just flashes. So I said, well, I offered him a refund, but he said he'd like it fixed. So I said I'll bring it over and I'll have a look at it. So here it is. This is the amplifier. Now he tells me he leaves it in the garage overnight with the power off, not in standby mode. And when he turns it on, some mornings it will start this random clicking and eventually slowly settle down and power up. That's the normal startup procedure. Powers up. There's about a 6-second delay before the protection really clicks. Like that. And everything's fine. No problem at all. Standby operation normal as well. Now I left it in the workshop overnight, which was probably about 8 degrees. Powered it up the next day. No problem at all. So I contacted him and said, look, I can't see anything wrong with it. I said I'll keep it for another day or two, as I knew it was going to get colder overnight, and try it again. And I tried it this morning. I left it actually in the boot of my car, and it was dropped to about 3 degrees Celsius overnight. I tried it, switched it on, and it did exactly what he said. It was going haywire, relay clicking away. So I've taken the top of it to have a look inside. I've also downloaded a circuit diagram. And what it's doing, what it uses, because it's got a standby function, the main power is only turned off by this isolation switch here, which he's turning off. And that's the supply here to this transformer here. You can see this. And then you've got some, this is the transformer here, this is the aux transformer, if you like, the auxiliary transformer that runs the sort of the supply and the standby current. And that's powered all the time, and it's rectified here, and it's fed to a smoothening cap, a linear regulator here, current limiting resistor, and then a final smoothing cap, and that's to give you your 5 volts. Now the relay that's clicking is this relay here, which enables the main power to the transformer. So that's the transformer power enable switch. So that has to be enabled for it to pass current through the main transformer. So first thing to do is, it's going to be pretty straightforward to find, I hope, but I would think it's going to be something wrong with this circuitry here when it gets cold. And of course the first things you think of are the linear regulator, which is this regulator down here. You've got a couple of smoothening caps, these two, the blue, and these couple of capacitors here. It's unlikely to be a regulator, a rectifier. It's possibly a dry joint. And of course this is a little transistor here, which is the one that just turns the relay coil on, and then you've just got a back EMF diode here to protect the FET from back EMF from the relay when it turns off. So what I'm going to do is, I think the easiest thing to do is to give a squirt of freeze around various areas and see if I can induce the fault. It's only going about 3 degrees. A quick squirt of freezer should show up the fault pretty quickly if it's in this area. The amplifier works absolutely perfectly apart from that. It's actually quite a nice little amplifier. It's quite unusual. It's got a field effect transistor output stage, which is slightly unusual. So let's give that a go now. It's obviously on at the moment. So I'll start with the regulator. I'll give that a squirt of freeze and just see how we get on. Let that soak in a bit. Okay, nothing untoward there. Let's try the little transistor. No problem there. Let's try this capacitor. Okay. Seems to be alright. Let's try the little green capacitor around the back. absolutely fine. And we've got this little blue capacitor here. Straight away it seems to be fine. So let's give it a bit more of a squirt, but really get it cold. Cooled. Ah, there we go. So something on that board is definitely causing the problem. That's exactly the fault he describes. Excellent. Okay, so I think the thing to do is get this this auxiliary supply board out, and let's have a quick look. First of all, I think we'll check for bad joints, and then what I'll do is I'll replace that capacitor there. But, so this capacitor here looks like is it C38? No, it's probably not C38, but it's well, we'll get it out and see, but it's obviously the higher of the value capacitors. It's probably this 470 at 25. So that's smoothing to the linear regulator. So if that smoothing capacitor is intermittent, the linear regulator won't be able to regulate. So let's take the board out and have a quick look, see what we can find. Luckily, this part of the board is fairly straightforward to work on. Let's see what we got. Just checking for dry joints first of all to make sure we've got no suspicious joints. I will go through them make sure they're okay. Disconnect that from there. These horrible connectors popped out. Should pull out there. Oh, great, the connector's fallen apart. I might have to resolder that back in. So there we go. Let's get this capacitor out and have a look, see what this capacitor's like. Put it on the capacitance bridge. No sign of any burning or anything, so there's no sign of any... Oh, this has landed on the floor somewhere. Yes. So what is this? This is... Oh, it's an... Oh no, so it should be a reasonable 25 volt at 470 mics. So let's have a look and just see what capacitance we get on the bridge. Oh, okay. Shorting the capacitor, I think. Let's try again. Okay, that's not looking good. That cap is 51 ohms. That cap's dry. So that's probably a problem. So what we'll do is we'll replace that with another 470, and hopefully that will fix the problem. So what I'll do is I'm surprised because it should be a fairly good quality component, but I suppose if the amplifier's been left on standby all the time, it's that cap's going to be dried up. So anyway, I think what I'll do is I'll finish the video there and I'll put it all back together, and I'll show you the demonstration with the freezer afterwards. Thanks for watching.